It's always a party here on the Old Coot Product Review channel. Anyways, the Old Coot here coming at you with another exciting video. So what do you bring to a party, right? We're gonna jump right into this and kind of show you all what I would bring to different kind of situations, times of year, even like that kind of vibe. Also, maybe some alternatives if I can think of some off the top of my head. But with that being said, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I have to buy all this stuff on my own, and I really enjoy the experience. These 6 right here are 6 of like hundreds of different types of Amari that I enjoy. And these are like regular ones that I would continue to drink on a regular basis. Also regular ones that I would bring to like a party. You know, a friend of a friend invited me somewhere and they're a doctor or they're a lawyer. You know, what do you bring to that party? Or maybe it's something casual. Maybe it's like a 4th or 5th date with your significant other and they're bringing their friends to their house to play like trivia night or something. What would you bring casual, you know, to that kind of a thing? So you kind of get the idea. But anyways, if any of the companies here want to reach out to me, I would love to work with any of you, and the ones that I'm going to mention that are alternatives to these as well. So keep that in mind. So anyways, let's get into it. So let me start on this side. Friend of a friend invites me to a party. They're a doctor, they're a lawyer, a little bit schnazzier, classier. We're talking dinner party, maybe 10, 15 people. Small little party, very intimate. These 2 would be a great choice, either one, for something I would bring to that party. So if I'm out of the Aperol, Campari kind of realm, right? Those are like beginner, introductory, aperitivo, something you would have before dinner. These are more of like the digestivo. These are ones that you would have with desserts at the end of the meal. Kind of you're looking at like that fine, you know, the alternative to these would be like everybody brings like a brandy or a cognac or that kind of a vibe, which is a whole different video, whole different category. But if I had to stick with like Italian Amaro, right, that I was going to bring to that party, either one of these for me would be a great choice. So this is Lazzaroni, right? Amaro liqueur, you kind of get the idea what's going on there. It is 25% alcohol by volume. Here's what the backside looks like. So you can kind of see what's going on there. So you kind of get a sense of what's happening there, right? Then this one is the Antica Torino. If you saw the videos just prior to this one, you kind of saw me talk about this one a little bit. There's 35% alcohol by volume, so you kind of get a sense of what's going on there. Here's the backside of water. This one's a little more divulgent with their recipe, right? What they're doing. They don't actually tell you exactly what's in there, but you know, alcohol, right? They macerate in alcohol, herbs, right? Spices, roots, barks, resins, seeds, and flowers. So you kind of get a sense of what's going on there. So here's why. Here's why this is the more schnazzier choice for me for, you know, if I'm bringing something to a party in that respect. And remember, all of these are regular, sippable, repeatable, enjoyable experiences for me, right? So maybe once a week, I'll have one or the other. Long day of work, come back from a stressful thing or whatever, or a happy occasion. And I just want to like have a quick little Italian, you know, Amaro, Aperitivo Digestivo kind of a vibe going on. I would enjoy any one of these. But these 2 specifically for something snazzy. This one and this one are just so damn complex. There's a broad spectrum of flavors that are going on there. It's not just like ethanol with an artificial, you know, flavoring. These are, you can tell the quality of the ingredients that are in these. This one is cola forward, right? So unsweetened barks, unsweetened like root beer kind of a vibe. Good balance, though, between sweet and bitter. I would say this one is like 50% sweet, 50% bitter, maybe 55 bitter, 45 sweet. This one, on the other hand, is a touch more sweeter than bitter. I would say 55 sweet, 45 bitter. So they're kind of like opposites of each other in terms of sweetness and bitterness. In terms of flavor, what you're getting out of this one is cola forward, right? So unsweetened barks, roots, that kind of a vibe. And then subtle, that's like 80% to 90% of the frontal push of the flavors that you're getting out of this. What you're getting on the undertones is you're getting rosemary, sage, thyme. You're getting some of those alpine herbs, almost like a gateway into a fernet, right? And then what you're also getting here is you're getting a very sweet spearmint kind of a vibe going on. And we're talking like 2, 3, 4% of that total flavor profile. So if you're going to a party where you want something a little more sophisticated, you want to show that, you know, you're just touching on that Fernet realm, or maybe you want to get into that conversation, like you're not really sure if the host or hostess of the party is into the Fernet kind of vibe, but you want to seem like you're a well-traveled, well-educated, well-read person, go for this one. Go for this one, and it could be that gateway conversational piece. Oh, hey, what do you think of Fernet? You know, and then just go that realm. Okay, this one, by contrast, right, is more stone fruit forward. So this would be something like take a plum, take a peach, cut them in half, put them on a barbecue, drizzle some honey, some brown sugar, maybe some warm baking spices, cardamom, clove, cinnamon. Slow roast that. That's what you're getting here. 70% of that flavor profile is what you're getting here. That other 30% is so damn complex. Yes, you're getting a little bit of those bitter roots and barks and that kind of vibe, but you're also getting this just complexity of like, there's notes, there's hints of like, maybe there could be some brandy in here, you know, like 5%, 4% of like that brandy taste, where it's just complex, it's refined, it's broad, it's sophisticated, it's that kind of vibe. And then you're getting that warm baking spice kind of a vibe action going on. You're also getting that stone fruit action going on. So you can kind of tell what's going on there. So you could bring both. You know, you could have this with dinner, like maybe mid-meal, or kind of like in the beginning, at the end. You know, it's kind of just so well diversified, so to speak. I mean, that's how I would describe it. Okay, Foro. This could be a pre-meal, a mid-meal, or an after-meal. I would say this is your cola again, right? Cola forward, which is what a lot of Amaro tend to be, is cola forward with, now you're touching on, let's see the alcohol by volume here. You're looking at 30% alcohol by volume. You're kind of touching on this, again, this 50-50 balance of sweet and bitter, maybe a touch more bitter than sweet, like 55-45. But the kicker to this one is, and don't misunderstand it, but the kicker to this one is you're getting, here they put chocolate overtones. I would say it's more like chocolate undertones, like chocolate notes would be a better choice of words. There's your screenshot if you want to go ahead and grab that, by the way. But I would say with this one, you're kind of touching on, you're getting a little bit of like cola forward with some little bit of spice notes, right? But then you're also getting like 4 or 5% of chocolate. You're getting 4 or 5% of like hazelnut. You're getting 4 or 5% of like nutmeg kind of vibe going on. So it's that kind of a vibe that you're getting from this. This would be for that crowd, that kind of, a good alternative to this would be like a Verna. Like a Verna is bitter, right? So sweet ratio, I would say like 60% bitter, maybe 40% sweet. Where here you're getting like 55 bitter, 45 sweet, something like that. And you're just getting into that chocolate, nutmeg, you know, nutty kind of a flavor with just notes, like hints, like wafts. Whereas a Verna is like coffee. A Verna is like coffee, hazelnut, chocolate forward. So that's a Verna. So that would be a good alternate. Okay, now we're getting into that less formal crowd. We're getting into that more like, you know, but you could also bring these to that formal crowd too. It's just so hard to tell. But here is where you're starting to get into like, now you want the spice, right? And this is any time of the year, any of these are any time of the year, depending on where the sun is in the sky, what the temperature is, you kind of get the idea. But here's where you're starting to get into that. This is reminiscent to me of like spring. This is reminiscent of like fall, winter. So let me put these two together. The Spice Girls, I'm going to call them. We're going to call these the Spice Girls. So Mileti is orange, spice, and kind of a cross between rhubarb and vegetal, like 30% on each. So 30% orange and orange blossom, 30% spice, right? You're getting cinnamon, cardamom, that kind of a vibe. And then you're getting 30% of this like rhubarb kind of a flavor going on. By the way, Foro, I forgot if I showed you that 30% alcohol by volume. Here was the backside of water. If you want to go ahead and see that, take a screenshot, you kind of get the idea. Here's Mileti. Mileti is 32% alcohol by volume, right? There's that kind of vibe going on there. So you can kind of see that if you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, you kind of get the idea. And then here is Vecchio Amaro del Capo. There's that part. 35% alcohol by volume, cafe. You know, kind of get the idea. Here's the backside of water there. So there you go. So the two Spice Girls. Okay, Spice Girls would be happy watching this. Okay, so these two, kind of almost interchangeable. Here what you're getting is, remember, 30-30-30. Orange blossom spice, rhubarb, and, you know, kind of like a little bit of vegetal qualities in there, like artichoke water, like that kind of vibe. Almost slightly like, but not like that Chinar. Chinar would be a it'd be so tough to substitute it, but Chinar would kind of be a substitute here where it's more on the cola side and you're getting a little bit of that vegetal. Okay, Vecchio Amaro del Capo is kind of where you're getting into, now you've lost the vegetal. This is orange and spice and everything nice. So 50% orange, 50% spice. But the complexity, oh my God, but that complexity though, right? The complexity here is now you're tasting the Ceylon cinnamon that's in there, right? It's the better tasting, sweeter cinnamon. Now you're tasting like blood orange blossom instead of just orange blossom, right? You're tasting more complexities within the beverages. These two, so hard to pinpoint. Is it an aperitivo? Is it a digestivo? It's kind of whatever you want it to be. You know, these two are definitely like desserts. Even this one could be like kind of categorized like halfway between dessert and whatever. But these two are kind of like wherever you feel like you need them. Did you have a heavy meal? Something maybe that was like fried or like a heavy sauce, you know, kind of a vibe. Or maybe you just had something like that was really heavy, that terminology, like you had a heavy meal. This would be something you could have mid-meal, before the meal as an aperitivo to kind of get your appetite going. You could have this after a meal to cut through all of that, maybe greasy heaviness or whatever the case may be. That's those two. Okay, last one. This reminds me of spring, 100%. So this one here is Amaro Santoni, right? The aperitivo born in Florence. Kind of get a sense of what's going on there. 16% alcohol by volume. By the way, these are more on the sweeter side. 55 sweet, 45 bitter. I'd say that's about right for both of these. Kind of 50-50, but kind of also well balanced. This one now is you're getting into like just a touch more bitter than sweet. So maybe like 55 bitter, 45 sweet. Kind of get a sense of what's going on there. This one is floral. So we're talking rose, hibiscus, blossoms, right? Orange blossom, you're getting lemon blossom, right? I think this is reminiscent of, those kind of florally kind of notes that are in there. Think like jasmine, rose, hibiscus, that kind of a vibe going on with this. Definitely an aperitivo. This would be something like a lighter, reminds me of spring kind of a vibe, If I had to give you alternatives, and this is so hard for some of these. If I had to give you and then we'll go into like specific occasions, but if I had to give you alternatives, these two are pretty hard to beat. I would say the closest thing of an alternative to these two would be something like Chinar, like either Chinar 70 or the regular Chinar, the red label one, would be probably like a good alternative to these because you're getting those complex cola flavors, but some vegetalness to them. Not as good as these, but close. This one, the Foro, pretty tough. I would say a Verna would probably be the closest to this, right? You're getting chocolatey, hazelnut, that kind of a vibe. Then the Maletti and the Amaro del Capo, there are a lot of alternatives that are less expensive as well. Montenegro is a good substitute for these. Not as complex, not as robust, but you kind of get the vibe there. So Montenegro would be a good substitute for either one of these. Then this one, right? The rose hibiscus thing going on, right? With the blossoms. You could go Ramazzotti, Aperitivo Rosato. You could go that realm. You could go Nonino, which is one level higher. Nonino would be kind of like spice with floral mixed. Kind of like that kind of a vibe. Like Nonino is also a good alternative for Campari. Like if you want to go one level above Campari, Nonino might be a great choice. So anyways, I hope this video out there helps some of you. If you want to talk about prices, like just ballpark, like plus or minus $5, this would be around that like 25 range, 25 to 30 range, somewhere in there. This would be, give or take, I've seen this for as low as like $18 on sale. I've seen it as high as like 34, but I would say around 30, 28 to 30 would be a good price for the Vecchio. Maletti, I got this in San Diego for 29, pretty much 28.99. I would say somewhere around there would be about right. 26 to like 30 would be a good range. Foro is in like the $30 range, 30, 32, somewhere around there. This one, total oddball, right? I would say I've seen it as low as like 30. I've seen it as high as like 50. But I think somewhere around that $30 range would be okay. The Lazzaroni, I would say somewhere around like 32 bucks would be about right. Best places to find these. I always start with Total Wine. To me, by far, is like 10%, 20% less expensive than Bevmo. If you have to go to Bevmo, if that's what's closest to you, go for it. If you're in Southern California, Mission Wine and Spirits carries, I think, most of these, if not all of them. If you can't find, like this one is a little bit harder to find, you may have to go to like a specialty wine place. But the experience is just beyond believable. Like these two to me are like probably like the best in class within that you're going to a snazzy party. You want to bring something nice. You don't want to overspend your budget or whatever, but you want to like impress, go with either one of these. These now is when you're starting to get into more casual events. You know, maybe you're having dinner with like a coworker or a friend you haven't seen in a while. Excuse me. Something where like you want to try something different. You don't want to bring Campari or Aperol, but you want something just different. Maybe they like chocolate, you know, or hazelnut. Bring this one. It's not going to taste like straight up chocolate. Keep that in mind. If you want a chocolate liqueur, bring a chocolate liqueur. But if you want an Amaro that has a note of chocolate in it, this one might be a good choice. These are more, I would say, like on the casual end of the spectrum. So like maybe, like I said, like fourth date with a significant other, right? You've just met them. Now they're going to introduce you to their friends or whatever. Lunchtime barbecue at their house. These would be like perfect for that kind of an occasion where it's more casual. It doesn't really matter what you're bringing, but you want to bring something snazzy. That would be kind of these three. So anyways, I hope that answers a lot of your questions. I'm the Old Coot, and I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.